Hello everyone, it's Miss Betts, and today we're going to be talking about PVLEGS and what to keep in mind while we're presenting, since you all will be starting to present your speeches here soon. So what is PVLEGS? It's actually an acronym, and most of you, since you're so smart, probably know what an acronym is, but just to recap, an acronym is words, the first letter of words combined to make a word that you say out loud. So we come up with PVLEGS. And we'll go over what PVLEGS actually is. So PVLEGS is poise, voice, life or energy, eye contact, gestures, and speed. So we'll go over each of these individually a little more in depth. Let's start with poise. Poise or posture, whichever one is easier for you to remember. So when we're presenting, we want to remember to stand up straight with our shoulders back, keeping our hands at our sides, unless we're making meaningful gestures or holding on to an object like some note cards or a microphone, depending on where you're presenting. And also when it comes to poise, we want to remember to look the part while we're presenting. So we want to be dressed well, not looking like we just rolled out of bed. So we want our hair to be combed, and we want to be wide awake and ready to share our information with our peers. So we want to look like this second lady standing up straight and alert rather than the first lady here on the left who is slouching. Next we have voice. So when you're presenting, you want to be clear and loud, and you want your classmates to hear what you say. So this also ties into posture. When you're slouching, you tend to talk quietly, and that sometimes makes it really hard for your peers and your teachers to hear what you have to say. And I know you all have really great points that everybody should hear. You have some great ideas, and speaking loudly and clearly will really help us all hear what you have to say. Another way to help you prepare your voice for speaking is doing a vocal warm-up. So I've included an example there for you. She sells seashells down by the seashore. It trips me up every time I try and say it, but I want you all to go ahead and try this now. Alrighty, so we'll move on to life, or the L in PVLEGS. So a great way to get yourself ready to present is doing your power poses, and this really gets you energized and ready to share your information with your peers. And also another way to get excited and have energy about what you're presenting on is picking a topic you're excited about. So finding something that you like about the topic is a great way to have that energy shine through. It's really easy to seem energetic and excited about a topic you're presenting on if you like that topic. I mean, it makes sense, right? Another way to portray that you're excited and energetic about what you're sharing is looking alive. So that kind of connects to our poise. If we're standing up straight, we look awake and we look presentable, that'll really help convey to our audience that we're excited and ready to be there to present to them. So we want our audience to look not like this group of people here who are falling asleep. We want them to be excited and energetic and get that energy from us, who is the presenter, and have that come across to our audience. Then we have eye contact, the E in PVLEGS, and eye contact is a really big part of presenting. So that eye contact can really help establish trust or credibility with your audience. It makes them feel like you're a trustworthy speaker. And there is one difference now that we have an online format with eye contact. So when you're presenting in person, we usually want to remember to look at 3 main points throughout the room, or try and look at every one of our audience members at least once, just to try and establish that trust and credibility so we seem welcoming as a speaker. But when we're online, we're presenting to a camera, so that can be kind of difficult. What I try to do is look right at my camera hole right there in the top of my camera, but sometimes that's hard to do when you need to look at the content that's on your screen that you're sharing with your audience. And so that's okay to look down at your screen every now and then, but try and look at that camera and pretend like there is a person sitting there that you're actually presenting to. Then we have gestures, and when we're gesturing, we want to be sure to include gestures that are effective and meaningful. We don't want to just be throwing our arms around because that can be really distracting. Instead, we want to have gestures that coordinate with what we're saying. So, for example, if I'm giving a speech and say, the first argument I have is that hot dogs are the best food. When I say the first argument, I want to hold my one finger up just to drive that point and make sure that people know it's important, and they'll connect that first movement with the word first, and it'll help them remember that key point a little better. You can also say there are 3 main points in the speech that I'm giving today, and hold up 3 fingers. And then you can go ahead and progress and explain those 3 main points. You can also use gestures to show space. So, for example, saying, the jump she made was this high. I couldn't believe how high she jumped. This will just show your audience a spatial recognition of how high that person you're talking about jumped, and that can really help them remember that point a lot better. So when we're gesturing, we want to use our hands and our shoulders to show movement. You can also use your face, but that's a little bit more difficult right now with masks, but it's something to remember for the future. Lastly, we have speed. So it's really typical to be nervous when we're giving a presentation. And so when we're nervous, we tend to speak more quickly. This happens a lot, and that's okay. I know I get nervous when I have to present, and I start to speak more quickly, hoping that we can get the speech done sooner. But this is actually harmful to your audience because they can miss out on meaningful parts of what you have to say. So as a speaker, we want to speak not too slow and not too fast, but right in the middle, with a speed that we can hear clearly and loudly. So I have a picture here from the story of the tortoise and the hare. If any of you have ever heard that, where the tortoise and the hare met and the hare challenged the tortoise to a race. Long story short, the hare fell asleep and the tortoise won, and we learned that slow and steady wins the race. And in this case, slow and steady can win the race with speaking. We just want to remember to not speak too slowly that we start to bore our audience. So that's pretty much all I have for you. These slides will be posted and the video will be on Canvas if you have any further questions or want to look back and refer to the video. But if you do have any questions that you can't find or can't be answered by the video, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. All right, good luck with your speeches. I'm so excited to see what you all have to present to us. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.